today we are going to unbox, well, we already unboxed it, but take a overview look at the new Sram GX AXS kit. This was released or announced a little under a week ago. Managed to get my hands on a set, and so yeah, let's take off the lid, see what's inside, and take a pretty good look at everything in detail. Alright, so here is the box that the GX kit comes in. Really nice packaging. I don't know if you can notice, but you've got a really cool kind of reflective, maybe mosaic eagle pattern here. Really cool artistry there. Let's take the lid off. Alright, Sram literature. Alright, so let's take a look at what's in the box. Obviously, the main piece here, we've got the GX derailleur. This doesn't have the battery in it, looks like, but you know, with the steel cage and everything, it's definitely heavier than the XL1 mechanical derailleur that I had. I recently just took that off in anticipation for getting this, but usually, like all SRAM stuff, fit and finish looks really top notch. That steel cage feels really rigid. So probably one of the advantages of going with the GX kit and saving some money there is possibly a little bit more durability and strength. Next up, we've got the shifter. Pretty standard affair. I actually rode the XX1 kit a couple years ago when it came out, when I demoed the Mega Tower up in Santa Cruz. Again, I got the standard paddle. You can click up, down, and then you can also click like that for more of a trigger finger style. And this also takes a cell battery, so it's not rechargeable. You will get a lightweight SRAM clamp to mount that to your bars. Looks like your gap tool looks a little different from previous Eagle stuff. If you remember what the red ones looked like, it was kind of a lot bigger, bigger flange. So it looks like this is going to set up a little bit different. So that'll be interesting to try out. It looks like they have also supplied a cool little multi-tool. Looks like a 8 tool. Looks like you have your Torx. Looks like maybe even a 8 mil. Your standard 4, 5, 6 looks like. So cool that they included that. I did not know that that is what it was going to come with. You got your charging cable. This is going to be a micro USB, so not, you know, the latest USB-C, but still a micro USB, pretty relevant. Standard affair. You are going to get your spare battery. This in itself is pretty small. Let's see, looks like you can lock and unlock this red cage, or no, what is that? Oh, it's a battery level, or I don't know. I'll look at the manual there. But your battery, and then last but not least, you got your battery charger. So this will be a dock style charger, whereas you don't clip it into the actual derailleur. So now that we have taken a look and unboxed everything, let's take and see if I notice any cool little details about this kit. So here's the GX derailleur. You know, it looks pretty similar to all the other SRAM derailleurs, and then also the other AXS kit, with the exception of this cage being stainless steel. I don't know if you can see, but it has a little bit of flex there, but otherwise it is a pretty strong kit. The clutch feels nice and strong. So what's different about the GX kit that is different from the current XL1 and the XX1 is it has this little battery cover. How this clips on, there is a little clip down below that it grabs onto. This little flange right here that kind of grabs around the front, and then also back here. So you'll have 3 points of where it will grab to. So if you were going to hit something, it is probably going to make the battery protector come off probably before the battery will. And then this also, not that it really happens a whole lot, but it will also protect your B-tension screw, which is right here. So if you don't know how the battery connects, we'll take this cap off like so. Back in here. Clip off. You're going to have 3 connecting points right here. You match them up with the connecting points right here. Bottom end first, then the top will snap. So you can see right here where the bottom piece is grabbing in. And then from the side, this is how your previous X01, XX1 derailleur kind of looked, just kind of the battery exposed out the back. But now we have the cage, got the vents facing outward, snaps on just like so. Looks pretty sleek, I think. I am not worried about whatever minimal or negligible weight gaining it's going to add. Some people out there are probably going to care, but I don't. But I think this is a lot cleaner look than with just the battery sticking out. And I do think that this will help do some deflections on the trail and protect that battery. Battery is so small and light, probably wouldn't be a bad idea just to have a spare one with you. But I haven't heard of that happening very often. All right, so next up we have the shifter. So this is going to be identical to the other shifters if you were to spend for the high dollar kits. Looks like we have mostly a plastic cage. This covers plastic, this is plastic. The bracket that actually clamps to the bar though, this, if you can see the shiny piece compared to the matte, this is going to be metal. So that's going to be your strength point. You can kind of see the contact point right there for the shifting. And I don't know if, I think it's just one, no matter if you were to bump it from the back or do your thumb actuated. Now this is how it would look if you're mounted to your bar. Actually, let me mount that really quick and you can kind of see how the thumb action works. All right, so here it is mounted to my bar. I actually don't have my bike up and going right now, so this doesn't have a grip or anything, but your thumb would sit kind of right in this little cradle. You would bump up to upshift and you would bump down to downshift. Now the tension to upshift to go into a harder gear is significantly lighter than it is to bump into an easier gear. I don't seem to remember that difference when I rode it the last time, but it may just to differentiate the two different actions of going up and down shifting. It was kind of confusing when I rode it the first time because, you know, you're used to hitting two separate areas and you kind of end up hitting up or down. So like trying to hit this ridge or hit this ridge versus kind of rocking up or rocking down. And again, kind of like how some of the old, I think Shimano shifters, you can bump it with your finger. However, that doesn't feel great actually. For me, at least in my hand and fingers, it's kind of an awkward reach. It could be different if I actually had a grip on, but the angle in which this cradles your thumb feels really nice. I may try the other paddle that they have, but I've heard that one with how much it sticks out can interfere kind of with your thumb as you're riding if you're not, you know, covering the paddle with your thumb, but I reckon I could probably get used to this pretty quick. All right, just to cover the charger real briefly. So it sits on this little dock where you just plug it into probably any micro or wall charger that you have, you know, probably like for any phone or iPhone that you had, you could probably use one of those 5 5-watt chargers. But just like the derailleur, back tab goes in first, then the front clips in, and you're charging, push down, bumps it up, you're undone. Pretty simple, don't have to go over that much more. So here is the new Derailleur Adjuster in terms of getting your gaps. This one looks a lot more involved and maybe even more precise, which probably isn't a bad thing. This compared to the old one, this is the one that I had with my old XL1 stuff. This one was simply, you just stick it in there, you line the jockey wheel with your cassette, and you were good to go. But this one, I mean, it's got different kinds of guides and slits, so it'll be interesting to see how this works when I actually get it set up. But that'll be a separate video. This is just to unbox and see what the kit comes with and what's involved. Alright, so let's talk about AXS really quick. So when AXS XX1 came out, it was astronomically expensive. It was one of those, you know, you wanted to hate it because of what it was. I mean, electronic shifting. And certainly some people loved it. And you really had to ride it to really know or appreciate it. Now, like I said, I got to ride it on a demo bike, and I was blown away. It was really cool. It was really precise. Didn't jam up at all. You could press and hold it and just grab as many gears as you wanted, or take off as many gears as you wanted without any hesitation. It was really cool. Again, there were some quirks to get used to, mainly just the action of the shifter. But by the end of that couple-hour demo ride, it was pretty organic, and I figured out how it best suited me. But it didn't make sense for a lot of people. I mean, it was going to be for the people that are going to spend, you know, high dollar on like the, you know, the big CC build if you're like a Santa Cruz, or like the Turk build if you're like on a Yeti. You know, so it was kind of reserved for, you know, it was definitely a certain marketable group. Then the XL1 version came out, definitely a little bit more affordable. Again, you're talking about marginal differences, mostly just in weight. I think between those two, you're talking about a carbon cage versus an aluminum cage that houses the pulleys. And really, when it comes to GX, which this is, between this and even XL1, you're going to get the steel cage versus the alloy cage. And you're talking about probably a $200 price difference between the two. Shifter being identical, it working near identical, or probably exactly identical. And so is that extra $200 worth, I think, the plus or minus 45 to 50 grams you're going to save? I don't want to call you dumb if you go for it, but I don't find any difference at all. It's going to be reserved for the people that really do care about their weight, and you know, and they're hunting and searching for the lightest builds whatsoever. But if you are even contemplating going to AXS, just get the GX kit. You know, it's going to perform, we'll call it 99.99% of the more expensive kits, but be easier replaceable, even though when you say replaceable, like, you know, if you shear your derailleur off and it breaks, you know, it's still going to be a penalty cost-wise to replace this versus the mechanical version. You know, but at the same time, if you are wanting something that's going to be super precise, really smooth, you can, it's so modular, right? You can just literally take this and the shifter and go pop it on a new bike, you know, that has an Eagle cassette. So just the setup and the easiness of that is something that I'm looking forward to. Now let's compare this to maybe the mechanical kit. So, you know, the cable version kits. I have always been the one that was convinced, or at least I found it beneficial to maybe get some of the maybe XL1 components. I wouldn't say the XX1 stuff. That's World Cup, you know, cross country, super lightweight. You know, you're chasing that lightest build possible. But there was some versions of the XL1 stuff and the mechanical versions that I found worth it. One of them being the shifter. I thought it was important, or I thought it was worth it to spring for the shifter. You know, that thumb lever was adjustable as far as the position goes. And from the factory, it came with a higher quality cable, so the shifting was a lot more smooth with less tension. Now you can replace that, like in a GX or an NX shifter. You can just pop that cable out and put a, you know, a more expensive or a higher quality cable in there, and you basically have the same thing, except you just don't have the adjustable thumb reach. You know, but you know, I did find some aspects of upgrading on the mechanical versions, but on this electronic stuff, if you've got a good reason, please comment below, and I'd like to have that conversation with you. So in summary, I'm really excited to give this a try. Again, I'm waiting to see what this is going to go on. Again, like the last video, my stock of parts that is waiting to be installed on a bike that I don't have yet. You know, I'm going to ride for this year. But again, it's one of those things you don't need. Maybe you want it, maybe you don't. Maybe you are in denial that you don't want it, or just you hate the concept. But really, give it a shot. I think it would really change your mind, and it would blow your mind how smooth it is. Maybe even make you a convert. It's certainly, I knew when I tried it for the first time, it was something that I wanted, but I just wasn't going to fork out, you know, the money that the XX1 stuff was. But with the new GX AXS stuff, I think they definitely nailed it, and you know, it's ball in Shimano's court now. Hey, so thanks for watching this video. The question of the video is going to be, what bike would you like to see this AXS kit, GX AXS kit, be installed on? I'm planning to do a little video, and we're going to do some bike comparisons. I am in the market for a probably mid-long or long travel, I don't know if you call it an enduro bike or just a mountain bike these days, probably in the realms of 150 to, you know, 170, maybe even 180. Yeah, let's talk about bikes. Thinking about making a little comparison video to go bike comparing and searching and comparing the pros and cons. But I haven't ridden a bike for I don't know how long. It's kind of scary. So what bikes have you guys ridden that are worth taking a look at? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time.